There's no talking points. There's no talking heads. There's no smoking guns. It's you, me, a long walk in the numbers. Rich, what's tonight's number?
Tonight's number, two numbers, 3 million, 24 hours. People are feeling the burn after his, I wouldn't even call it, I mean, it's a second place, but it's so close that I wouldn't even call it a second place. It's functionally a tie, right, in Iowa. So Hillary Clinton, the final numbers only had her up by between 0.2 and 0.3%. And after the 24 hours after the tie/loss or second place finish, however you want to look at it for Bernie Sanders, the numbers are rolling in. Now, what's interesting about Bernie is he's relying primarily on the small dollar contributions, which is pretty unusual for a major party political candidate. Bernie Sanders has brought in $3 million since the Iowa caucus ended. And the other interesting fact is that in January, Bernie raised from small donors predominantly an eye-popping $20 million alone. What do you think, Richard?
Well, here's the thing, and I've been watching the Iowa caucus very, very, very with, binoculars, America. Now, there's a couple things that I think are really important to notice about the Iowa caucus that I think is very important. Yes, one, it is true that Hillary Clinton did win the Iowa caucus, but turnout was really high. And I think that the number that people need to look at that I think is the most important is the youth vote turnout number. Now, for whoever is going to win the White House, it is going to be critical they rebuild and turn out the Obama coalition, youth voters, African American voters, and Latino voters. Bernie Sanders has a clear grasp on the youth vote. Hillary Clinton has not been able to penetrate the youth vote. And here's my hypothesis of why. Bernie Sanders' campaign is almost too inspirational, right? It is too inspirational to be true, right? Some of the things that he's saying, while yes, they sound awesome. Free college sounds awesome. A 1% tax on Wall Street sounds awesome. Can it be done? Yeah, it can. If we win the House and we win the Senate. Highly unlikely that we win the House of Representatives, America. Let's just be, that's real talk. I'm having a real conversation with you. The other problem that you have with Hillary Clinton's campaign, on the other hand, is almost anti-aspirational. Her campaign is like, look at me, I've checked all the boxes, and because I've checked all the boxes, when I get to the White House, I'm gonna know exactly what to do. And while that is great, people don't like to vote for that. I know how to do it already guy. They want to vote for something they believe in.
They want to fall in love with the presidential candidate.
I think, and that's exactly right. Right? People want to fall in love with somebody and not fall in line. And I think Hillary's the number one thing that she's got to do if she wants to be this party's nominee and the next president of the United States. And this is in a vacuum outside of what the Republicans do, right? Because, that changes, it changes everything, right? But what she's got to do is she's got to find a way to connect with Americans. She's got to find a way to let Americans understand that there are aspirational natures to her campaign. And when she wins, staying the course with the Obama legacy. Having a third term of Obama means these things aspirationally. She has not been able to do that yet. Will she be able to do that in the future? There's no telling. This week we saw her at the Democratic Town Hall, moderated by Anderson Cooper, and she started to tell that story just a little bit. She started to talk about, when she talked about her faith, which I thought was really good. She talked about being a grandmother, but she's missing some parts here. She's really got to figure out how to deal with the youth vote, and Bernie Sanders has figured that out, which is why you're seeing a Bernie revolution. And I'll make a prediction tonight. What you will see is after he wins New Hampshire, which is probably going to happen, the recent CNN WHUR poll said that he's up 2 for 1. So it's up 2-1 against Hillary. He's now going into her base, a place like Nashua, which is like Hillary Clinton's stronghold camp. He's going in there and he's taking votes away from her. Now he's up 1 point there. He wins there. You're going to see him, I would argue, probably raise 6 or 7 million in one night or 2 nights.
Easily. And what's crazy is a poll that was done exactly a year ago projecting who the winner of the Iowa caucus would be had Bernie Sanders at 7%.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think it has everything to do with a major missteps by the Hillary Clinton campaign. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying I haven't endorsed any candidate, but I think there's been some major missteps. I think for the general election they're mishandling, and they need to figure out how they're going to handle this email scandal. Whether it's true or not, yes, the Republicans beat her over the head with the mallet, and it's absolutely wrong. But yes, there's probably sexism tied to it. But she's going to have to find a way to deal with that. I think she's also going to have to find a way to deal with this fact that she is taking almost millions of dollars from Wall Street to give speeches. Has to find an answer to that. And she's also got to figure out how to talk to young voters, right? I'm in the Beltway. I understand what she's saying. But what Obama sold young voters on was hope and change. Yes, we can. And it's fundamentally Hillary changing her rhetoric. If you notice the distinction between Hillary and Bernie, is with Hillary, you see a lot of I, me. And with Bernie, you see a lot of our, we. And because he understands that this race is not about him, right? He is just sort of a fill-in or a stand-in for the people behind his race. Hillary Clinton's race is way too Hillary-centric. I don't know how they fix that, but they've got to figure out how to do it if she wants to play strongly in New Hampshire and play strongly in the rest of the primary states. That's my take, America.